Hey everyone, I'm excited to bring you our next client success story. We have Michael Marino, who is a Realty One Group professional in the Henderson, Las Vegas, Nevada market. I'm so excited to have the chance to speak with him on his satisfaction using Virtuance and how he's using his photos to really help him sell his homes faster and for more money. So with that, let's go ahead and hear from Michael. To get started, if you could just share a little bit about yourself, about how you got into the real estate industry and where you're currently at in your career.
Yeah, Michael Marino. I'm in Henderson and Las Vegas, Nevada, and I've been in the business since 2005, full time, I guess 18 years. And when the market crashed in 2008, stuck with it. Most people, they kind of got out of the business, but stuck with it, kind of adapted, short sales, foreclosures, and then, kept in touch with your database. And as the market slowly got better, as that new cycle emerged, just gradually got busier and busier with, listings and buyers around 2012, 13, and past 10 years have been just gradually getting busier and busier.
Good. We love to hear that about
Yeah,
being
yeah,
busier and busier. That's
yeah.
awesome. So for Virtuance, how long have you been using us?
It's been about 7 or 8 years I've been using you guys. One of your reps came to one of our sales meetings and kind of showed us your website and basically just said, give us a try. And long story short, I've used one photographer for before you guys started doing drone. He was doing like my drone and my video work, but pretty much for all my still pictures, I never thought of switching. When I get the emails, try us, we're this, this is our introductory offer, but I just never thought to switch.
Yeah, awesome. That's fantastic to hear. We definitely appreciate your loyalty for sure. That's amazing that you've been with us for 7 or 8 years. So yeah, we definitely appreciate you for that. On that topic of, you saying I've never even thought about ever switching to any other photographers, what have been some of those key reasons or maybe benefits that Virtuance has provided that really has shaped your mindset that way?
I would say, I mean, obviously the picture quality is probably the main reason, but I guess reliability and dependability. Like
Hmm.
when you do a higher volume, you have to know that the vendors you're using, and it doesn't mean that you have to have a photographer that day, but knowing that if you're going to log into the portal and you're planning your schedule and your listing all around all sorts of appointments, take the photo shoot here. This is a 30-minute photo shoot. Go here, go, knowing that you're going to be able to get an appointment. It's going to be confirmed online. They're going to show up and you're going to get your pictures back the next day. The main thing is the reliability of the overall process.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And how would you say has Virtuance's reliability and dependability really just help you succeed in your business?
It certainly has, because a lot of, when you produce at a higher volume, a lot of focus has to be put on time management and scheduling your appointments, and choosing where you're going to spend your time. And if you have a vendor or a client or another agent that kind of derails your schedule, you have to take a second look and say, do I really need to be working with them? So to me, I put a lot of emphasis on it, and it's a huge part of my success in terms of managing your time properly, so you're not burning out and working 14 hours a day. You're getting everything done, and it's partially because of the people you're working with are on your schedule.
Yeah, I love that. I think that sense of reliability and dependability is really important, especially when we talk about real estate, because yeah, you guys are in a churn and burn industry and you're already balancing a million different hats. And so I think from our perspective, it's really nice to be able to hear that because that's one of the things we really take into consideration is how can we really relieve that sense or that hat from you, right? That way you
Yep.
don't have to go worry about ever having to take photos on your own or having to switch over to another photographer. You can rely on us to keep up with your speed and know that we can really help you with your business in that way. So love to hear that. So when we talk about photos specifically, what would you say are some of the key qualifications that you look for in professional real estate photos?
Probably, to me, not just the quality of the camera or the
Hmm.
lighting. I mean, those are all important, but I look at, has the agent properly set up the room? You can have the best photographer, but if the room is not staged and set up properly, that's probably the toughest, the biggest challenge. Yes, it helps when the house is completely upgraded, but if a house is not upgraded and it just has basic carpet and white walls, you can still make it look good if the photographer is using the right angles and the proper lighting and the proper camera.
Absolutely. Those are great points. And that's why I think we we've made a pre-shoot checklist like a resource that professionals can really tap into. And we've said, use this checklist from us as a way, just put all that blame on us. If you're trying to tell a client that, hey, we need the space to be tidy and clean or straightened out, we always say, take that pre-shoot checklist, give it to them, say it's our recommendation from our photographer that this is how we prepare the space before they come to shoot to ensure that those photos do turn out superb. Right. So that's a really great point. But then also, yeah, to your point of room composition and how the room itself is actually captured. I think you just nailed it right on the spot that the room could be empty and, you can add on virtual staging and different features to really fill the space, but it has to be captured in the appropriate light. So for Virtuance photographers, what has been your experience working with the different photographers that we offer in our network?
All of them have been professional and know what they're doing. I can't even think of something off the top of my head where it would even be an issue.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's what, again, we strive for, is to make sure that all of our photographers are trained to put their best foot forward and prepare your property before we even send it through our HD real image processing system. So when we switch over to just talking about how Virtuance has maybe helped your business succeed, have you noticed any changes in your online visibility, changes in how fast your listings are selling, or changes in price point of what they're selling for because of the marketing you're using through Virtuance?
I think for me, because I only use for professional photography, I don't really have much to compare it against, but I do know that if I post something to my social media and it's just like I'm out showing a really cool property and it's somebody else's listing and I do a quick video or a picture and I post it, versus if I post professional pictures, I do think, and I'm sure there's studies behind this, I do think that professional photography, people are going to see it differently and they're going to know subliminally, they're going to know that's a professional picture
Right.
versus he just took that with his phone. But I
Yeah.
do think people notice it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a stat out. We did a marketing trends report for this year. And in that trends report, we surveyed, I think, just under 500 realtors across the nation, and 95% of them were using professional photography. So when we were looking at and reviewing that data, what it really told us is, yeah, if you're not using professional photos at this point in your career, you're really lagging behind and just doing yourself a disservice, because everyone out there is already using them.
Right.
And so not only now do you need to be using those professional photos, but what else can you be putting or adding to your marketing stack that's going to help you stand out from the crowd? So in your opinion, as we begin to just wrap up this conversation, what would you say is the best part about partnering with Virtuance?
I think it's just the reliability, being able to get into my dashboard and kind of edit. I kind of edit them all the same way. I just upload all the statistics and the verbiage and the price point. I'll add a song, but other than that, I don't really do much. I try to keep everything with my listings. I try to keep everything consistent. I think that's the biggest thing for me, knowing that, if I have my virtual tour posted to my MLS, and then my virtual tour, I'll then create a QR code. That QR code goes on some of my marketing pieces. So to know that it's going to be consistent, that's very important to me.
Yeah. So real quick, I want to touch on something that you brought up. So you mentioned that you use our back-end system, so our marketing suite. Have you
Yep.
found that that's been really beneficial, especially like maybe when you're speaking with clients or just marketing the listing in general?
Yeah, I think so, because like this last listing where the guy just replaced his appliances and I had to get in there and take some home pictures and mix them in with the photo gallery. And so when he changes not only the price, but if we change the verbiage and put in there all new stainless appliances, I can get in there and edit my information very easily because I'm familiar with your the marketing suite dashboard.
Yeah, yeah, those customization features are really nice. And
Yeah.
exactly to your point, we want to make it really easy if someone has changes that maybe were made that need to be uploaded. Or another good example is sometimes sellers will provide like pictures during different seasons. So if it's a really pretty fall, but the
Yeah.
shoot was captured in the summer, so that's really, we really enjoy that customization that the Virtuance marketing suite can really offer, and allowing you to be flexible with how you're presenting your
Right.
listing. And then just as a final question, what is the main reason you would recommend Virtuance to colleagues around you, other real estate professionals, maybe new agents that are out there?
I would just say if it's somebody that's looking for, you know, the repetition and you're doing the volume, the fact that you can rely on it, the fact that you can get in there and customize it. And some people like that photoshopped cartoon look. I like the HDR look better. So I think that it's kind of depends on your model. And you know, there's agents that are just going to go the cheapest route no matter what. And you know, if that's what they want to do, that's fine. But I would say if somebody is looking for the things that I'm looking for, then I usually do recommend to them. And, you know, all the time we see people post, hey, does anybody have a good landscaper, a good plumber, a good photographer? So there's always people that are throwing in their recommendations. And, you know, I don't know how many, if I had to guess, there's probably 3 or 4 big companies in Las Vegas. I don't know. And there's probably a bunch of smaller freelance ones. But as far as having the back end and the website and all the customization, I don't know of another one that would have that much all in one. Like the other ones that I've used, what they'll do is they'll just email you a link to their Dropbox and you just download the pictures. And if I wanted to create a virtual tour or a slideshow or a movie, I have to go and then make it in Canva or something else. And it just takes, if it takes 20 minutes or 30 minutes out of my day and my time is worth X amount of dollars per hour, is it really worth it? I don't have an extra 30 minutes to add into the overall picture from when you take a listing start to finish. So to me, it is worth it.
Absolutely. I mean, nothing can save your time, right? Your guys' time is valuable, especially again, we talk about the industry just being churn and burn. So yeah, I was just curious about how it compares. So it sounds like if you're paying for a cheaper photographer, then you are getting a cheaper delivery.
You're getting just the pictures and you're not getting the back end, the web design and the music. And because I use the virtual tour in a couple different marketing pieces, not only like if I'm at a listing presentation, I'll pull up on my laptop, I'll pull up, this is what your house is going to look like. And they're impressed because it's not just a generic slideshow, it's an actual website. And I'll tell people your house is going to have its own custom website. And then the QR code it goes on the flyer. That QR code brings them to the virtual tour. And then the other QR code I'll show you here. So like when I send out postcards to the neighborhood, so on the back, it'll say, click here for the virtual tour. And that QR code will bring them to the Virtuance.
That's awesome. No, I love how you're using that in your marketing materials. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
When you're at the listing appointment, when you're at the listing appointment and you show them, you know, we're not going to just put it on the MLS, we're going to send out postcards to 500 of your nearest neighbors. But then when I take my phone and I scan the QR code, especially if it's somebody that's older that doesn't really know how those things work, they're kind of impressed, like, wow, how'd you do that? Same thing at the open house. If there's a flyer and that QR code is there, you know, I'll say, here's a folder, but if you want it digitally, just scan the QR code. So I'm using that a couple other for those reasons. If I just had a Microsoft made or a Canva made, it wouldn't have the same effect as if it was like the actual Virtuance website. So I'm using it a lot of different ways for that reason.
Yeah, I love that. I love hearing about all the different ways that you're taking advantage of that website. I mean, that's what they're for, is to really just help you get additional visibility. So wherever you can post that up, that's fantastic. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time very much. Thank you so much, Michael,
You're very welcome.
Just meeting with me today and going over everything. I really appreciate it.